Today is the deadline for Spaza shop owners and other food handling facilities to register their businesses with their respective municipalities. This is to ensure they are compliant with the law. Last year, President Cyril Ramaphosa called for all Spaza shops and food handling facilities to register as part of decisive measures to address recurring foodborne illnesses. When the pronouncement was made last November, all Spaza shops and food handling facilities had to register within 21 days. However, the deadline for registration was then extended to today. For more about the deadline, we are joined by the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, Velenkosini Hlabisa. Minister, thank you for your time. Thanks for being with us. I suppose the best starting point is to ask this question again and for you to re-emphasize, will there be an extension or is today the final end and closing of the registration process?
Good morning, Liane, and the viewers of this program, SABC. Indeed, Liane, today is a final date for the registration. There will be no extension. But anyone who will miss today can still go on Monday going forward to municipalities to apply, but not operating in a Spaza shop or a food handling outlet.
So the reality is, and I think what's worrying a lot of people is that there have been a lot of logistical issues in the registration process. I mean, we're seeing a lot of the front pages of the newspapers and some news articles speaking to people that have seen that this hasn't been as easy as they've been told. I mean, even the headline on the Sowetan this morning is basically saying that only 10% of Spaza shops have actually been registered. What do you have to say about that?
There was ample time. The extension from December, not to end of January, but to end of February, 2 months full after the festive season. Whatever logistical issue that a person might raise, but a person who decided yesterday to go and register just a day before the deadline will say there are logistical problems. I was at Tshwane yesterday in the city where they informed me that the flow of people has been very low from January up to now. A big chunk was before the first deadline of 21 days. Now, people who will decide to go to the registration today, they will make a call for the extension, and if you can respond to their call, you will never have it right. The best way, those who have applied, they know that they are the right people to operate the Spaza shops. People who have not come forth, the majority of them, is because they know they are not going to be operating the Spaza shops. There will be fronting, and there will be no room for fronting. A person who applied is the one who will use the Spaza shop or the food handling outlet to operate.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people do respect the process, and many are happy that this is being implemented, and it's long overdue and desperately needed. But what I do need to ask you, though, and I think it's very, very important that we look at the problems associated with the whole registration process, because if these numbers are correct, it is a worrying situation, and these are the ones that I'm quoting from the Sowetan. They're saying only this is just in Gauteng, 1,464 of 17,290 applications received by Gauteng municipality have been approved, and the department are attributing the slow progress to bureaucratic problems, high registration costs, which were unaffordable for most business owners, as well, and municipalities' lack of resources to process applications efficiently. It's the last sentence that worries me, is that they don't have enough staff and they don't have the capabilities to do this at a municipality level. Can you tell us about this?
at Tshwane yesterday. They raised the problem of capacity, but this problem was resolved. It was a problem in the first 21 days. The manpower was not enough on the side of municipalities across the country to deal with the bulk. But there has been a low turnout of people wanting to register from January to February. That is why municipalities were able to deal with numbers. Yes, today you will see a big turnout, and definitely they will not be able to be assisted because they deliberately come on a last day so that they put pressure and start to raise logistical issues. Yet for the rest of the 2 months, people were relaxing. And lastly, Liana, if a person says there is a cost in terms of registering, but you are running a business, you are making money, it's not thousands or a big money, it's a reasonable money to ensure that you are really committed in running a business and you are going to be making money. And the government has made available $500 million that you will access having formalized and registered your business.
Yeah. Costs associated with it, some talking it's a payment of 1,034 Rand, then fees of 400 Rand for a zoning certificate and 950 Rand for a health certificate. So are those the fees that are payable when you go and apply and register your business?
Yeah, it will depend and vary from one place to another. But like the health certificate is regulated by law. If you are going to sell food that is going to be eaten by people, you need to comply with health regulations. And you must have a certificate that indeed what I'm selling is approved to be sold. And without that health certificate, there will be no way of doing the regulation and control, and people will sell whatever they want. And once there is an outbreak in terms of illnesses, and the government will be found wanting that it does have laws, it doesn't introduce or implement those laws. What I liked when I was at Tshwane, I met ordinary women, young and old, who were very happy. They are selling the fat cook amagwinya. They were very happy. They said, we are coming to collect our certificates. We have been trained in how to ensure that this business is lively. So whatever money we paid, but the return is going to be good in the long run.
So, Minister, let's talk numbers. What are we looking at? How many Spaza shops and food handlers have registered to date?
We will be tallying our numbers, Liane, as it is a closing date today. We requested all municipalities that the first thing on Monday and Tuesday, we will be tallying numbers and also confirming those who are South Africans and those who are foreign nationals, checking their compliance in terms of the law. Then we will have final figures. It is true. Figures are lower, far lower than the operating Spaza shops. But the truth is, the majority of Spaza shops are operated by foreign nationals, most of whom who will not be qualifying after the closing date today. So it is no wonder. Why are you having smaller number of people applying than the Spaza shops and other food handling outlets that are in operation as we speak? Yeah. All we need to do, the people of South Africa still have a chance to reclaim this economy into their hands. Even on Monday next week going forward, they can still go and apply to reopen and take over the Spaza shops, which they have handed over to people who do not qualify to run them in South Africa.
So, Minister, for those that perhaps are, yes, we understand illegal foreigners in the country, but those that perhaps are asylum seekers or those that are refugees or those that, you know, are trying desperately to get papers, because I imagine that Home Affairs needs to be involved in this if they are, you know, legitimately here and are able to be working, but they can't get that documentation in time. What happens there? Because that, I can imagine, is also a bit of an issue.
You can't be in South Africa without papers. If you are in South Africa without papers, you are an illegal person to be in South Africa. If you are a refugee or an asylum seeker or a student or a person who came for whatever reason, if you came correctly, you should have had papers long before, not now that you want to run a Spaza shop. So now, anyone who has an issue must go to Home Affairs. But Home Affairs is not going to run around and want to make you authentic on the last day, yet you know you are an illegal person in South Africa. Those who have papers correct, they don't need to worry to go to Home Affairs because they have papers as asylum seekers or refugees, which is something that must have long been done before you finally settle into South Africa.
Minister, obviously the question I need to ask you now is today finishes. I own a Spaza shop. I haven't necessarily been successful in the registration process. Come tomorrow or Sunday or Monday, when I want to open up my business again, can I do that? Or is it now, if I am caught unregistered, my business will be shut down? Or what happens? What are the repercussions?
Very much, Lena. I want to appeal to people of South Africa, because it is only a person who will not be fair who will say there was no enough time. There was enough time. If for whatever reason you could not register by the end of today, do the right thing. Don't disobey the law. Close your outlet or your Spaza shop on Monday. Go back to municipality. Do your application until it is concluded and you get a receipt and you reopen your Spaza shop. It will be unfortunate if the government will have to apply the law, arrest people, you slip into jail, you destroy your record as a good South African who obey the law for a simple thing, which you could have done right.
Yeah.
The appeal is, let us do what is right and comply with the law.
Minister,
on Monday, yes,
sorry,
Liana.
yeah. On Monday, please just finish your sentence.
No, I'm saying, Liana, from Monday, a Spaza shop from tomorrow probably correctly, because it's 1 March and it's a weekend. A Spaza shop not registered must close down. From Monday next week, we will give a directive in terms of once we have cleaned our data, because probably Monday and Tuesday, we must get the correct information and everybody must have a receipt on hand, and the process of verification, inspection, not only to find those who do not comply, but also to locate the small businesses where they are, to process the final process of licensing and also allow them to access money. But as from next week, the law will be applied to those who will have disobeyed it. The appeal is just do the right thing.
Minister, thank you for talking to us. I think after next week, if we can touch base with you again for how this is going to be managed and policed, and of course the health inspections, and of course the dangerous substances that are found within these different Spaza shops, how that's going to be managed. I think this is also important issues to touch on. But Minister, we'll leave it there for now. Velenkosini Hlabisa, the Minister of Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs. The deadline is today. You heard the Minister. Tomorrow, if you're not registered, you've got to shut your business down. And that is the law from now on forward.